So you've seen the beginner's guide for Geese by Germany's finest Geese player, Madara. Like, that guy is just, he's too good. He's too good. So we've got a more in-depth and advanced guide. This is for people that want to take Geese to that next level. Madara, take it away. And if you lot ain't subscribed, make sure you lot subscribe now. But everyone else, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for joining the fam. We're only going to grow higher. Let's get into it.
Yo, what's up everyone on YouTube? This is Madara. Thank you for tuning into this video. Today is something special because it's something I'm not doing too much on YouTube. This is a little teach me episode with Geese Howard, my main. I've been playing this character since release, so it's been over 5 years now. So I think it's about time I'm gonna talk about him a bit and like how you play him right now in this season 4, 4.5 kinda. And what's like the most important key moves, optimization, combos and stuff like this. I think I'm not gonna waste too much time and go through a lot of those points. And I'm gonna start with the game plan with Geese right now. There are a lot of different ways people play Geese, and some people play him on big pressure, like spending your meter on block for example to create huge frames, plus frames, and just to poke your opponent to death with a lot of moves. In my opinion it's a bit different, because also his meter got nerfed quite a bit in like gaining it, so it's a bit harder to get your meter, so you should not waste it on like pressure, and it's a bit different now. So what I mean by that is he's very good in his whiff punishment. So for example, his movement is really good, so you can step and walk a lot of things that other characters can't really walk. So you have to utilize that and combine it with his really good whiff punishers, like standing 2, back 3-2. You have forward 2, which has insane range at 17 frames. And his combo damage is really insane. So once your opponent actually whiffs and you utilize your movement, your opponent will have like at least half of his life gone, most of the times. So in my opinion, Geese really specializes on whiff punishment, utilizing his movement and poking a lot. With poking, it's kinda like you annoy your opponent. You annoy your opponent with a lot of moves, like down forward 1, down forward 3, 1, 2, to the point where he gets a bit angry, to some degree, right? So to the degree where he will start whiffing and you will start creating whiff punishers, like whiffs intentionally for you to launch. So that's the idea, at least in my playstyle, and I think that's the way you should play it most of the times, because it's really helpful, is to poke until you have your bars ready. Like one is already really important, one is really good, and utilizing your movement, walking a lot, backdashing a lot, and then wait for the whiff, then you strike, then you do your whiff punisher, optimize your combo, and then that should be the round. I'm gonna go through a lot of these key moves, a lot of those combos, talk a bit about the meter as well, just to see what you can optimize, what you maybe don't know yet, to get to that level where he's so deadly and sharp, people will hate it to play against that, because they have to be so ready and they are not allowed to whiff, because if they whiff and you are sharp, that's the game, that's the round. Alright, so the first move I will cover from these top 10 key moves will be standing 2. It's not by order, by the way, I'm just going through 10 moves that I think are really important with him. Standing 2, obviously his 15 frame launcher, links into a lot of special moves like his overhead kicks, his J-cans, his Repukens, but the most important one obviously is forward 1, because it leads into his combo, right? Combo starter. So it's really important. So it's really important to know the proper combos, like depending on the range. What's also really important is to actually confirm it. For example, your opponent whiffs, right? And you're standing here, you're doing your thing, and at some point you might realize, okay, this is not gonna work, this is going to be on block. So you don't want to waste your meter here. You lost 1 meter and you don't get the combo. Really bad. So what you have to do, or should do, which can be risky obviously, but it's a bit better than wasting your meter, is by stopping it with, for example, a Jaken, with a QCB2, for example, QCB2 free. If you're really good and ready and you've played a lot, you might even realize on the standing 2 that it won't work as a whiff punisher, and you can do standing 2 forward 3, which I also do quite a bit. Because wasting your bar without getting the launch is not that good. Because they will just back off and your meter will be gone. The max mode at the blue bar, it will just burn down. And yeah, it's not good because you need the bar, you need the damage. Because this meter's rare, right? The move itself is minus 13 on block, but you don't do it like this. You will always cancel into a move. So that's standing 2. Really important key move. We have sidestep 3. His key low got a bit nerfed because it doesn't counter at launch anymore. Gives huge plus frames on counter at plus 17. On hit, normally it's plus 4. Yeah, it doesn't counter at launch anymore, but it's his key low and also leads to some mix-ups. And that's, for example, forward 4. Also another key move that I will mention in this. Forward 4, I think it's even a bit underrated at points. And really good. It's only minus 13. A lot of the times, if you space it correctly, people can't punch it at all. Because the pushback is too high. For example, it's really good if you want to mix it up with sidestep 3, because sidestep 3 and sidestep forward 4, we have both 19 frames. You have the same speed with a kick, and it just knocks down on normal hit, right? Knocks down on normal hit. If it's uncountered, you get the countered launcher, obviously. And a lot of times you're really safe. There are a lot of characters, no, quite a few I'd say, quite a few characters who can punish you for that. Like Bob, like Panda, like a lot of characters. But it's still a very good move, and I would definitely use it. And best range obviously is like max range, if it's possible, if you can space it, because I don't know if anyone actually can punch it on max range. So yeah, keep that in mind. 19 frames, just like sidestep 3. Good sidestep mix up, sidestep 3, sidestep forward 4. And that's the next move I'm covering now. Back 2. Also mix upable from sidestep. It's your wall bounce. You go to wall pressure. So if we go to the wall really quick, back 2 obviously wall bounces into really good damage. You can mix it up with sidestep 3. It's safe at plus 2 on block. Plus 2. It doesn't have the best tracking if they step or walk early. But yeah, they have to be ready. Otherwise, they will get clipped by this. I feel like with this move, it's a bit like mind games and like mental frames. Because it looks hella plus, right? Look at Jin, how he's backing off. But it's actually only plus 2. It's not that much, right? When it comes to like mids, it doesn't have anything on 12 frames, right? You will have down for the 1, but that's 13, and then his jabs. So it's a lot about like mind games and mental frames, just annoying your opponent, maybe also to the point where they will whiff on the wall and you will get the whiff punisher. Really good and important move. Sidestep 3, sidestep back 2 on the wall. Next up, we will go for down forward 3. A move I've seen Khan, Pakistani Geese, pro, one of the best, if not the best, uses a lot. It's really good. Actually, I have not been using it that much like lately. Like, I mean, I've been using it lately very often, but not that much before. I've realized that it's a good low. 15 frames. It is minus 13 on block, and it's minus 2 on hit, so there's not too much to it, also on counted. But there are two things to this move. One is, if they try to punish the first one, so for example, they are on crouch block, right? They want to punish it with a 13 frame, 12 frame punish. And I pull through while we're trying to punish the first one, it will counter it like this. Doesn't give too much, obviously, it's just a knockdown, but it's still a good move to annoy your opponent. If they block the second one, you're at minus 13, which is still okay. It's kind of like Fang, right? Fang and Miguel. Miguel has a high, but they also have like a low that has a mid extension. Point is just to stop them from punishing the first one if they actually want to punish it. And since you will have a lot of other different lows that I will cover in a second, it's just a low with a different speed. And that's really important, because if they do low parries, for example, it will come out in different timings, the lows, right? So it's just good to mix up the timings of your lows, so you get it unpredictable. So it's good to use these lows, even though they're not doing a lot. As I said, poking is really important and annoying, to the point where we will whiff, in my opinion. So keep that in mind. Down forward 3, really good move to annoy, has some decent range. And yeah, down forward 3 also tracks to the left a bit, which is important because normally you go left against Geese, and this tracks Geese's left, just like down forward 4 tracks left. So yeah, that's down forward 3. Next up you have down 2, another low, high crush. So he goes into crouching. It is -14, so be careful with that low, because you will get punished by that for quite a big punish for a lot of characters that have I-14 launchers or decent punishers. It's still really good because it's high crush, and you can also create whiffs by, for example, sidewalking left on hit. Oops. Like go down 2 and then start sidewalking left, if left obviously is the weak side of the opponent's character. If you're on this side and right is the weak side, like Jin for example, it's a good moment to just sidewalk right duck, for example. Maybe wait for the forward 4, the electrics, you know, stuff like that. So yeah, just another low to annoy your opponent, -3 on hit. Next up, we have while running 1. While running 1 is really good. You need to learn how to use it instantly. What I mean by that is from point blank, how do you do while running 1? You kind of need to learn that with this character, because it's a really good mid. It's -8 on block. It's an elbow as well, meaning besides a few characters, not a lot of characters can parry it, because elbows are not parryable. It's a really good mid. Knockdown on hits. It's safe at -8. It's some of the weirdest tracking I've seen in a move. I can't lie. The amount of times it hit while we were walking and I hit their back or something, or like when they are on the ground, it often also like hit them while they are on the ground. Yeah, there for example. Okay, this was a bit crazier even. But there are a lot of situations where while running 1 will clip them on the ground if they try to stand up. So yeah, really good mid. Really good to use from instant while running. That's while running 1. Really important. His second key launcher, which is back 3-2. This move got one bigger nerf I'd say, which is back 3 being -12 now on block, which means they can actually punish it. But of course if you pull through while they are trying to punish, they get launched. So it's a 50-50 if it's on block and punished or not. It's a really good whiff punisher, just like standing 2 has a really good range. It's a knee, so not a lot of characters can actually parry knees, like Jin for example. It is, in my opinion, hit confirmable. So for example, if you want to annoy with back 3, you can actually delay back 3-2 more than you maybe think. Like look at the amount of time I'm delaying and I can still do the 2. It's coming with a lot of practice. I've been doing it in tournaments a lot, but it can be hit confirmable. You just need practice. It's not easy, but it's super deadly. If you can do that, really good skill to confirm that. Yeah, that's back 3-2. Still launch punchable if you don't do max mod cancel, obviously at -15. But besides that, if you cancel into max mode on block, the cheeky setup is to start sidewalking. A lot of people try to do jabs and stuff, but you're +2, so you will sidestep their move or their jabs, and then you can launch. That's back 3-2, key move, just like standing 2. Going up to the next move, which would be down forward 1. Down forward 1 has 2 extensions, which is down forward 1-1 and down forward 1-4. Down forward 1 on its own is +5 on hit, And it has, as I said, 2 extensions. The mid one, which is also kind of like forward 4. It's a counter launcher as well if they mash into the second one. You can delay quite a bit. It's kind of like, it's a bit similar to like Brian's down forward 2-1 and down forward 2-3, where it has a high and a mid. Down forward 1 on its own is pretty good. +5 has decent range. Your key poking tool. If you poke, you have to use down forward 1 into that with all the other moves. And yeah, it got nerfed, so with Geese in general, his whiff recovery is way longer. So be careful with whiffing these moves, because Geese takes very long nowadays to recover from moves. Always try to get them on hit or on block. That's really important. And yeah, it's -3 on block, I forgot to mention that. It's still decent, definitely decent. Next up, next key move is forward 2. Pretty underrated, I'd say. I don't see too many people use that move. It's good to whiff punish, even though it's 17 frames, but it has a lot of reach, like you can see. It's a 2-hitting move, but it can also go to the range where only the mid is connecting. And you will still, as long as you mash max mode, it will still be max mode cancelable. It's a really good punisher. For example, best example actually, because that's the most common one. If he does Death Fist, like this, you have your punisher, because Death Fist is -17, and you didn't have anything before, so you have a proper whiff punisher with long range. So keep that in mind. It's also good, for example, if Akuma whiffs Hadokens from this range, you can just go in with standing 2, forward 2, I mean, to whiff punish. Because I like to go to work with whiff punishers as Geese. So forward 2 is just another move in your arsenal to get the long range punisher going, right? It's -14 if you don't finish it, but you have a follow up, which is safe. But it's a high, so another walking 50-50, I'd say. I wouldn't consider going to max mode just to make it safe, because you need your bar. Try to maybe not finish it. Wait the punisher. Because I said, if you lose your bar, you lose a lot of damage, because that's where Geese gets the damage going in. 1+2 as well. I'm not gonna cover it as a key move, but it's something you have to keep in mind, because 1+2 on its own is his 14 frame punisher without meter. Back 3-2, you have back 3-2, right? But it needs meter to do anything. That's 26 on its own. While 1+2, it's also 14 frame, also tracks to his weak side, which is left, and it's guaranteeing you while running 1. If you want a side switch, you do a dash in throw with another 20 damage, so you're at 40 or 40. Doesn't make a difference. It's just good to know if you're at the wall, for example, close to it, you can side switch, so your opponent or you are further away from the wall, whatever you like. Yeah, keep that in mind. Decent range. It is -14 on block on its own, but it's your go-to punisher if you need a 14 frame punisher and you don't have the bar. Or as well if you just sidewalk and you want to punish really quickly with something quick. 1+2. 40 damage. We have like 2 moves, like 1 key move, then we have the 10 done basically, is down 4. Down 4 is also tracking to its weak side, which is left. It's whiskey low because it is dire on block, which means you will get heavily punished. -31 or 29, 31. Keep that in mind. It's a countered launcher like this, which leads into really good damage, but it also yeah, it's just a high risk, high reward move. And it also high crushes, which is really good, and it's special cancelable. So you can do your special moves from this, you can do your Whippuken, which actually, if you space it like this, it's mostly not punishable because of the ranges, right? So yeah, down 4, really important move. Big lows, you have your small lows, you have your whiff punishers. That's kind of like the way I think you should play Geese. Key moves. Last move I kinda want to mention is while standing free. Also move I'm not seeing too much, I think. It also tracks to his left. It's like that hook he's doing. Instant screws. It's good. For example, if you duck strings, which the gap like to punish is not that big, it's easier to do instant while standing free than to do a full crouch down forward 1, which is his proper I-15 launcher, because you can just input it way quicker than to do full crouch down forward 1. And you can easier get misinputs with this move. Just keep that in mind. Tracks to the left, quick to input. It's safe. It's a high, but it's safe. You don't risk too much. Just doing it also sometimes like this is not too bad. Just don't whiff those. So we talked about the key moves now. I wanna break into the next chapter, which is punishment optimization. What I mean by punishment optimization is to maximize the damage that you can do. For example, if you have the meter and you can kill, or you are close to winning the game, you should definitely go for something like Raging Storm. From standing like this, from your wild standing 1, which is your I-13 Punisher from wild standing. And even, and that's also really important, you have an I-10 Crouch Punisher if the move that your opponent does recovers in standing. What I mean by that is, a good example is Lars. Let's for example say he does this low, right? This low is minus 12, but he recovers in standing. What I mean by that is that you have lows, like down 2, where you recover in crouching, right? I can hold down to be in crouch and not standing. With Lars, you can't stay in crouching, you will just stand up. You will have your standing punishers basically going on. So what that means with Geese is, this becomes a true punish, because they cannot crouch the high. If we for example do down 4, yeah, for example like this, you see the dick jab hit it, but because he's recovering and crouching, the QCB1 will whiff because it's a high. So it has to be a low that is recovering and standing. Like for example his full crouch low, or even this. This is a bit character specific, but there are a lot of characters that do have these moves. You recover in crouching, but your opponent in standing. And you don't have an I-12 Punisher in crouch, because wild standing 1 is 13. So best thing to do here is this one. Or this, right? If you have the meter, if you get your Raging Storm afterwards as well. Really important. Just in general, knowing that this is a Punisher, an I-10 Punisher for lows that recover in standing, really important. Keep also in mind we have the Raging Storm as a Punisher. And yeah, that's about punishment optimization, in my opinion. We have meter optimization. What I mean by meter optimization is that, let's for example say I have 0 bars right now, right? I'm gonna get myself close to 1 bar. Up forward 3 is a launch punishable move, right? As you can see, I don't have a bar just yet ready. But if I land the move, I will have just enough meter to utilize it. So basically, it's something you will learn with time, and that is that always keep in mind on your meter and how much you will need actually. Like this, I think is already enough for me to do my Punisher. So let's make him do the orbital, the upward 3, I mean. Okay, in this case, this was not enough. It's not easy, definitely. I have a lot of time. It takes a lot of time to actually practice that. This, for example, should be enough. Right, this was perfectly enough for me to optimize it. Because if I wouldn't have done it, in this case, okay, it's a bit different because you have this. But in the case where this is not as minus, you will only get something like this, right? So if you see that your moves like 2 forward 1 give you enough meter to do a max mod cancel, you have to keep that in mind, because it can change a tournament, it can change a set, it can change a ranked match, whatever you want to do, right? Even with back 3-2, same thing, just enough to spend the bar. And the next thing I want to talk about with meter optimization is, let's say for example you actually messed up your Punisher, right? It's on block, example he blocks now, right? He blocks your string, you're actually in the burnout state, in the max mode state. What I like to do in this moment also is to wait for whiffs. What I mean by that is, you wait until your opponent does a mistake, like whiffing, utilizing the max mode bar, and you do EX Moon Slicer. You don't spend another bar because you're still using the blue bar, which is your meter, that one bar you spent already, which is going down like a timer. And in this time you have still the chance to land another combo. You have like another ticket, right? And it's really important to realize that you have the bar, the time, and go for the EX Moon Slicer to combo. Just see it as a second chance from the game to get you another combo. You can also use it for pressure. It really depends on the situation, how much life your opponent has, stuff like this, but keep that in mind. Really important stuff. Next thing is a bit about some setups, some optimizations on the wall as well, and some crazy things you might have never seen. First things first is, if you do, for example, your 10 frame Punisher close to a wall, like this, you will get a knockdown, and sometimes it will hit the opponent will hit the wall, right? Like this. If the position is right, this becomes guaranteed. See if I can do it. I think that was actually the perfect access. You see? It was a 5-hit combo. You can't see probably because of my webcam, but it was guaranteed, so the opponent couldn't tag wall. And yeah, it's because he's still hitting the wall that you get down for Reppuken. Either solo or double Reppuken. This is some optimization of damage. Good thing to know. And yeah, optimization. Easy as that. Other thing is, what you can also do if you wanna spend the bar. If you do this close to the wall, you get your wall combo, right? Because they're hitting the wall, even though they're not at the wall, like in particular, because of the range. Another thing you can also do is, you do this, for example, if it's this move, and once they hit the ground very low, like here, you can spend 2 bars. Let's see. Like this. They will resplit. And then you will get like another move, like ground throw or stuff like this. Also optimization. Of course it's a rare situation, but it's a good thing to know, and it's a bit more damage than your normal wall combo, right? But keep these 3 things in mind. Next thing is, if you do a running tackle with Geese and you press 2, you are +5. This is fully guaranteed, and they can't do anything about this. This is Raging Storm. Because of its speed, there's nothing you can do about it. Fully guaranteed. If you press 1, you are at 0. You don't get Raging Storm. Only 2. A good way to set this up, for example, is by doing this command throw and then just mashing forward, because it has the perfect range for you to set up this tackle. Guaranteed. Next up is another wall combo that works on a specific amount of characters. On these characters that I will mention, you get a different wall combo, a bit more damage, and that would be, your normal wall combo would be this, or with double Reppuken. What you get on these characters is, jab, jab, down 3-1, forward 1. It's a bit more damage. This was 43, 42. It's a bit more. If it's the axis is like straight to the wall, you also get down forward 1. But this one is a bit hard to land, because if we had a bit too much to the side, the down forward 1 might not give you the down 3-1 afterwards. So if you want to go safe, you go for double jabs. If you do the jumping 4, get a single jab into down 3-1. Also a bit more. Another thing, which is only on Miguel, Dragunov and Fakuma, and I think Marduk, these characters, is you get down forward 1, down 3-1. Into Raging Storm, into this. This only works on these characters because of their long legs. So yeah, just optimization. Instead of like doing this, which you can also do down 3-1, that's like a thing you can always do. You can do down forward 1, down 3-1. But yeah, the characters you can do this wall combo where you do this down 3-1 thing. From what I've tested, it works on the kings. So king and armor king. Works on Marduk. On Marduk it also works with this Raging Storm combo. It works on Giggles and Jack, Dragunov, Miguel and Fakuma. These are the characters from my testing out where you get this wall combo. And again, this wall combo with the down forward 1, down 3-1. For my testing, it worked on Dragunov, Fakuma, Miguel and Marduk. Next up, I'll show the best thing, what you can do about Kuma or bears in general. The normal wall combo won't work. You can see forward 1 is the killer, and in this wall combo forward 1 is the killer. That move will side switch, and the moment you will side switch, they will get their ground hitting 1+2 guaranteed. So don't do ever forward 1 at the wall. There's two things you can do. You either let go of forward 1, do something like this, lose some damage, but at least you're not side switching. Or if the axis is pretty straight, you will get this. This is down 4, forward 3, down 1 Reppuken. 48, while this, for example, does 41. So it's a huge difference. But I've played a lot against bears, and I also had a lot of situations where the dick jab, like here, won't hit. So keep that in mind. It can whiff sometimes, but everything is better than doing forward 1 in your wall combo, because that's the thing that will get you killed here. I'm gonna cover a few setups. This is very specific, I'd say. Doesn't work on every character, but on the most like normal builded characters, let's say it like this. And that is, if you do your wall split, like this for example, you do your Tekken, whatever, right? If it's a bit to the right, like let's say for example, just a little bit, there's not too much needed, like here, you can get your wall split. After this, you get something like this. What I basically did here was I did a sidestep right, down 3-1, forward 1, half circle back 3, the Tekken. By doing this, you will basically turn around a bit with Geese. As you see, it doesn't need too much. This is like the perfect position. You can do a jumping wall combo as well. You can do all your normal combos. Doesn't really matter. Sometimes, depending on the X, it can lead to weird combos like here, where it doesn't properly hit. So you have to shorten your combos a bit. If it's like this, this is the perfect position. If it's like this, you get everything you want. Just a bit of the damage optimization, if you want to style a bit as well. I love doing this combo, it's so stylish, and it will always get people surprised, for sure. Another thing, I'm not sure about it myself, but I think it's cool to include it into this video, because I've tested it like a few times in a match and it was actually really cool. And damage-wise it was really good. And that is this combo. Something like this. This was a lot of crazy shit that's happening. What I basically did here was I did a sidestep down forward 1 to the point where the opponent's still at the wall, so you resplat them basically. And then after I resplat them, I do a deep sidestep left, like a very deep one. And I do standing 2 the moment they drop down. Like the moment they're very low on the ground is the moment where you can press standing 2 into double whip hooping. It's something I still need to like find a better solution, let's say like this. So yeah, standing 2 here, hit very low and double whip hook and resplatted them. So you have a few different methods. The faster will you recover here, like Jaken recovers really early your character, or forward 3. The quicker it needs to be, that's the resplat in the side step, because otherwise if you delay too much, they won't hit the wall. The longer your move takes, like this, or like EX Jaken, the best method to do this is by doing backdash, sidestep left. Backdash, sidestep left, down forward 1. Let's see if I can do it again. Like this. You can do some crazy shit like this. Backdash, sidestep left. 2 QCF1, 2 QC beat 1. Which, yeah. It's still a work in progress, and I still need to, like, it took me a long time to actually get this working. But it looks really stylish, and it does so much damage compared to your normal combo. Last thing, just as a funny fact, is one combo that you can only do on Fakumram. 1+2 normally doesn't get your launch, right? It does on Fakumram. For some reason, of his hitbox, this is guaranteed. Dash 2 and then Moon Slicer with 1 will give you a proper launch. His hitbox is very weird, but I mean, we take those, right? That's it with my Teach Me episode. Hope you enjoyed it a bit. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'm gonna try to answer as good as possible from my knowledge and from my skill. Hope you liked the video. Please leave a like as always. And yeah, thank you very much for watching and for the support. Peace out.